over here on the right-hand side of Abyssal City, we have our red Zerg player from TSL. Your runner-up in GSL Code S, it's Hyun. And his opponent over here on the left-hand side of the map is our blue Zerg player and the defending IPL champion, it's FXO Leenock.
Kevin, I gave you a present, and you didn't even unwrap it first.
What's that?
You just kind of just ripped it open. I guess that's unwrapping. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I hate wrapping paper.
What do you use to wrap your presents?
Wrapping paper. But I just dislike it. I'm the kind of person who, when like some people will be very careful and they'll try to like slowly pull open the tape so they can retain the paper. Nope, screw that.
You actually like slice it? Do you slice and dice it? Like
no, I just like take both hands
it?
over the top of it and just rip. So there's no saving.
Do you find satisfaction
paper?
in ripping wrapping paper?
Not really. And bubble wrap, yes.
Well, but if you hate wrapping paper, I feel like maybe you could get a little bit of, you know, a little bit of happiness out of destroying its
maybe
beauty.
I'm just calling out my wife. I don't know, but like she's the kind of person who likes to save wrapping paper, and I've never understood why.
She, you know what? Actually, going back to, I remember she has that magic pack that she pulled like $40 worth of cards out of.
Yeah.
Yeah, holds on to things. A little bit like me. I like collected rocks and stamps as a kid. Rocks. Rocks. That was a good idea. They're going to go up in value, guys. Kids, don't collect rocks. Collect cards or some sort of memorabilia. Or
collect rocks?
Yeah.
Rocks are awesome. So Leenock is actually going after the same thing he did in a couple of different games. 15 hatch into his extractor right afterwards, then pool. And Hyun actually going after his 15 pool into hatch into a little bit later gas. So we saw this actually play out in game number 2, I believe it was, this exact scenario. And Hyun tried to duck in with a couple of roaches once again, but Leenock was able to hold that. I certainly hope, though, that Hyun is using this as a way to get higher tech and a little bit more defensive play, rather than trying to hit another roach timing, because that hasn't worked out for him so far.
But yeah, both players have found that, you know, Leenock has his slightly more all-in, extremely more all-in timing. And then Hyun has his less of an all-in timing that Leenock still holds and catapults himself to success with. So I think we'll see both players, go for new builds this game. I hope so, at least.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Just to remind everyone who's joining us as well, the next challenger on IPL Fight Club is going to be another Zerg player, so we are guaranteed a ZVZ. It is going to be sort of the gentleman who just finished 4th at NASL over the weekend, so certainly be looking forward to him participating next week. Now, the question is he going to be competing for $2,000 of prizes if Hyun ends up winning, or is he just going to be competing for $600?
Well, we'll have to wait and find out. This is game number 6. In a best-of-9 series, Leenock currently up 3-2, as you folks can see. And as things are getting kicked off here, we see that Leenock is just slightly ahead on speed. But in the economy, we've got Hyun just a little bit ahead. So real back and forth right now between these guys. As there's opening builds, they've just varied ever so slightly, but nothing real major as of yet.
No, not particularly. But Leenock is going for his Baneling Nest once again. And once again, he's building it inside of his main, despite the fact that he went for a hatch first. As we mentioned before, so many players have been putting it right about here, and then putting that spine crawler in and walling this in just a bit. Not going to be the case for Leenock, though. Baneling Nest once again coming up for Hyun, and we've seen this play out very poorly for Hyun a couple of times. So what is he going to do differently this go-around?
Well, there's been a lot of aggression on both sides, so I mean, the Baneling Nest from both of our players is not really all that exciting. The question is anybody going to get aggressive with it? You know, Leenock has obviously had not much success with that, so not a big surprise to see him morphing his Banelings on his side of the map, I do believe. This is where I want to click on the Banelings and find out where they are.
There they are.
Okay, so no, they're actually looking like they're going to try to slip in the middle line all by themselves. We'll see if Hyun can see these. He's got a couple of links swinging down. Wow, just barely missing those Banelings.
Yeah, out of vision there. The rest of the Zerglings are slowly starting to catch up now. 5 Zerglings actually in tow, an additional 4 Banelings being produced now for Hyun, who is going to have to defend this. One of the Banelings goes down, the second one falls, but not before it does manage to injure a couple of drones. Looks like those were picked off pretty quickly by Leenock, but did he do enough to justify the amount of supply he lost there?
I really don't think so. I mean, that was a great holdout of Hyun. Looks like he forced a couple of Banelings because Hyun was maybe worried about a counterattack, but no, Hyun can just use these by going for a counterattack of his own. So he's going to be moving out across the map, behind it taking a lair, taking 2 more gases. Could go in a Mutalisk play from here or a very fast Infestation Pit. As of now, though, if he wants to spend that extra gas, he will need to add on 2 Evos if that's not what he's planning.
Nice wall from Leenock, though, and that's going to give him the time he needs to morph in the rest of these Banelings. He's got that second evolution chamber, the third evolution chamber up the front now, and it's going to be very difficult for Hyun to be able to actually move into this. So we talked about before that Hyun can make a big follow-up of units and then decide to try and put on some pressure, but Leenock doesn't take any damage whatsoever. He morphs in his defense Banelings. He wasn't forced to create that many Zerglings of his own. In fact, he was droning up almost the entire time, so he actually swings things back a little bit towards his way.
Yeah, if we take a look, 45 to 42, Leenock currently leading, but has Hyun started his Infestation? No, the lair just starting, but he should go for a pretty quick one here with only 1. There's the Infestation Pit. He is only going for the +1 ranged attack.
That's right. Leenock actually his Zerglings here, and he can't actually deny the hatchery, so Hyun gets that down. Of course, it's revealed if Leenock decides he wants to do something aggressive here, and he is actually making 14 Lings on top of this while he's upgrading the layer, while he's going up to his Roach Swarm.
This is a little dangerous for Hyun. Hyun could overinvest into the attack here. Does he see these units moving out across the map? It appears there was an Overseer overhead, so is going to get vision of this. 3 Roaches, 4 Banelings currently on the way. The Infestation Pit is going to have to be put on hold for now. This is a beautiful move out of Leenock that's going to slow down Hyun's tech progression.
Now, we do see a role reversal, though. Hyun had been the one who was putting on a bit of pressure in these games, and Leenock was the one who was forced to defend, but now Hyun has to play that defensive game. This is what I said before that I kind of wanted to see out of him. He's got to make sure, 4 Banelings for 3. That's a bad trade for Hyun.
Yeah, it definitely is, and no queens in position. Leenock could potentially take down this hatchery here, and he's got his own already about halfway done, so if he can succeed in this, here come the Roaches. Is there enough hit points left on the hatchery? It's so low down at just 150, but it looks like it's going to hold for the moment. But this hatchery is going to be so vulnerable to sniping here, Kevin.
But look at this. At the same time, Zerglings are making their way inside of the natural. They're making their way into the main. Even though drones are being pulled off the line right now, 2 of them have already fallen. 3 have now fallen. So 4 have gone down. Wow, good economic damage being done here from Leenock as he stages up with more units outside of the natural to re-assault this 3rd base.
With no more than 4 or 5 Zerglings there in the main. Now he's going to try to swing in towards that 3rd. See if he can finish it off, but the reality is 2 Banelings. Oh, he's trying to get these Banelings so hard right now. Is not going to be able to... I mean, Roach Bane is just so good, but he blew 2 Banelings there. That was quite a surprise.
Yeah, it was, especially because Hyun doesn't have any presence across the map. He was just trying to distract his opponent, maybe swinging to do some damage. Looked a little bit better, but now Leenock's in a pretty good spot. He's neutralized largely the effect of this 3rd base while he establishes his own down here on the bottom left-hand corner, and that's really what he wanted to do. Hyun had started that so much earlier that he could have received a massive benefit from it, and Leenock largely prevented that from happening.
Kevin, he not only did he do that, but Hyun also had the faster Infestation Pit, and because he forced Hyun to make all these units, we see now that Hyun has not even started his pathogen glands, let alone any infestors. He's got none on the map, so the tech advantage that would have existed for Hyun is now one that's on the field for Leenock.
Okay, well, can Hyun hold once again? Leenock trying to get in and do some damage, and taking a look at things, let's see here. He does have an additional Roach for now. More Roaches are popping up for Hyun at the moment. +1 weapons versus 1/1 upgrade for Leenock, and he did have the better concave there, but with a shorter reinforcement distance, he is forced back once again.
But still no infestors here for Hyun, and he's going to be able to fight this. This is actually a nice victory here for Hyun. You know, it's not going to be a huge one, but will force the units back and get a couple of kills. But Leenock's making infestors, and we still haven't even seen pathogen glands begin yet for Hyun.
Okay, well, what can Hyun do in the meantime? He's got a decent amount of forces that are popping out, and he had that earlier Infestation Pit. He picks off an Infestor for free. That was really nice. Didn't even get off any of its energy whatsoever. So just 2 fungal growths there and available for Leenock, but I'm not sure why Hyun's pushing at the moment. It doesn't look like he has enough forces to be able to commit and actually get anything done. He does manage to kill 1 Infestor, and the other one with full energy is starting to back up at the moment. He will start to put on pressure down here in the bottom left-hand corner.
All right, so 26 roaches to 17, but more and more spawning for Leenock. He's only narrowly behind in that regard. A lot of these roaches for Hyun are damaged as well. A massive fungal growth, and that may be enough that Leenock's going to be able to hold this push. And with it, guys, he's going to have 2-2 on his roaches. He's going to have infestors. Hyun's going to be going home now with nothing to show for it. He's just starting up a couple of infestors back at home.
And don't forget, we said before that Leenock was carrying the better upgrades, and very soon, that's going to be a +2 carapace, +2 weapons. That's a full 3 upgrade advantage. That's massive in a mirror matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Hyun has nothing to show behind this. He needed to kill or do severe damage to Leenock there, and Leenock held beautifully. That fungal growth definitely swinging the tide enough. And now we've got a situation where an extremely teched up and upgraded Zerg is facing one who basically is still on roaches.
All right, well, 5 infestors are popping out right now, and those need to get up, and those need to be used at this second. If they can trap everything on the ramp, it would be great, but they can't, and the roaches can now spread out inside the main if they so desire. There we go. There's the infestor. Very nice fungal growth. That was about as good as Hyun could have hoped for, as a matter of fact, but at the same time, it looks like he's about to lose his third base.
All right, so Hyun needs to counterattack all in here, and losing infestor is definitely not going to help his cause. He doesn't really have any options to transition out of this, has simply lost too much. Will he be able to pick up this infestor? It doesn't look like there's anything nearby. In fact, just needs a couple of units caught by a fungal, but yeah, Hyun needs to counter all in immediately.
But does he have enough to do that? Overall supply does favor him. He's up by 17 roaches, but again, his roaches are so much weaker than his opponents. And every time this fungal growth pins these units in and gives more time for Leenock to rebuild his forces back at home, that's just devastating for Hyun.
Oh, you're completely right. Like at this stage, some players you may think, Hyun, why don't you bury your roaches and heal them? He doesn't have time. The more time he waits, the more units Leenock is going to be able to make. Here comes the push out of Hyun.
Okay, well, fungal growth does manage to snag a few units there. A couple of chain fungals right afterwards are actually going to kill a lot of roaches this time. Where are the rest of the reinforcements for Leenock? He's trying to make what other forces he can. They're actually across the map right now, dealing damage inside of Hyun's base, and they are going to clean up quite a bit here and occupy his opponent's forces for a while.
Hyun, he just doesn't have enough here, I think, to make the run. He's gonna. It's not that, like, you know, Leenock doesn't have enough units right now to hold, which he doesn't. The thing is that Hyun needs to kill Leenock with these units, because even if he just does a lot of damage, here we go. The units spawning right now from Leenock going to be too much, and Hyun is just looking pretty dead.
Yeah, I mean, this third base is retained for Leenock. At the same time, his opponent's third has not been able to be reestablished. Add on top of that, that economic damage was done inside of the natural. And there's GG. 44 workers killed in total there for Epic. So Leenock, and he is now just one game away from taking out the almighty Fight Club champion himself, TSL Hyun.
We've had a lot of situations, Kevin, where Hyun has been down, but have we seen one with 4-2?
No, that is a first. So right now, Hyun is in a situation where he has to win 3 games in a row to come back into the set.
All right, he's got his work cut out. We're going to cut the commercial, obviously.